Hello, and welcome to Miss Hope's Reading Hour on this wonderful Wednesday. Welcome, everybody. So glad that you are here. You hear our ambiance music. Has something to do with one of our books. So, if you did not see the video from our terrific Tuesday yesterday, guess what yesterday was? If you did not see it, yesterday was the 1 year birthday of Miss Hope's Reading Hour. Can you believe it, friends? We have been here for a year together, reading awesome books together, hanging out for an hour. At first, we started out 5 days a week. And then school came back and we were like, I was like, I don't think I'm going to be able to do 5 days a week. So we brought it down to 3 days a week. And we have been together on Miss Hope's Reading Hour for 1 whole year. It's our 1 year anniversary, our 1 year birthday. Hello, Miss Brandy. I'm so glad that you are here. So there are other people who are here. Miss Brandy just always makes sure to let me know that her and the boys are on and watching, and I appreciate her so much. Okay, so friends, since it is our birthday, we need to do something really big. Now, this is a very ambitious idea. If you saw the video from yesterday, you know what it is. But if you did not, and you check out the ticker, it's in there. So, because we have read so many books, I was like yesterday, I'm like, was I exaggerating that we may have read almost 500 books together? It's between 300 and 500 books. It's between there. But if I count, I have a sneaking suspicion that it's a really big number. Because the last time I counted, it was maybe about, oh goodness, it was close to 200 books we had read together, including picture books and chapter books. We had read almost 200 books together, okay? And then there were some that I didn't even count in that batch, all right? And so that was many months ago when I did that count. So since then, it has to have been over 5 months ago that I did that count to see, well, how many books have we read together? So what will we be doing for our birthday celebration? Well, my friends, if you missed it yesterday, I gave the big announcement. What we will be doing is on Friday, April the 30th, we will be having a 24-hour read-a-thon. We will be doing that. Yes, I know it's very ambitious, but I believe we can do that. So what I want us to do is I want us to read together. So my parent friends, my teacher friends, my young ones, my older young ones, if you have some picture books at home, okay? If you have some books at home, I want you to email me or message me on Facebook or Instagram, excuse me, to say, I want to be involved in the readathon, okay? Because I'm going to be reading and I want some of you to join in too. So get your family together, get your young ones together, and read some books. You can have a time slot in the 24-hour readathon. Also, just a second, I thought I turned my phone down, but I didn't. That's what live does for you, okay? So we just got to make sure that's turned down. All right, it is. So, oh, Miss Kate, thank you so much. She already said she wants to be involved. I'm so excited. So we've got our first person. Now, just so you know, if you would like to record yourself reading with us, okay? If you would like to do that, then you can record yourself reading, and then it can be put on during a certain time slot, or you can come on live at whatever time that you put in that you want your time slot to be in, and we will put you in that time slot. The extra thing about the Miss Hope's Reading Hour 24-hour birthday readathon is I want to couple us reading for this 24-hour period with raising money for worthy causes that help children and families. So I will get back to you because I have to narrow down the list to 3, okay? Because as much as we want to help everybody, unfortunately we can't. So I got to narrow it down to 3. I will let you know that on our Marvelous Monday broadcast. I will let you know what 3 organizations we will be raising money for. And please make sure that you keep a watch. Keep a watch on the Miss Hope's Reading Hour group on Facebook and page on Instagram so that you can sign up. And there will be other things on there so that you can sign up. Like I'm going to make a form so you can sign up and say what book you're going to be reading, because we don't want any duplicates. There's so many kids' books out there. We don't need duplicates, right? Right. So that's what we're going to do. Details are forthcoming. Yes, this is an ambitious thing that we are doing, but I believe that we can do great things together. We've been doing this for a year and it is great. Okay. So I believe that we can do this together and we can help a lot of people here in Philadelphia, here in the United States, and around the world. So if you know of any other families or young ones or classes or teachers or organizations or children's book authors who would like to come on and read for Miss Hope's Reading Hour, promote your organization, promote your books. And you can do that as well on the Miss Hope's Reading Hour 24-hour birthday read-a-thon. I'm so excited. It's going to be so awesome. Okay. So thank you, Miss Kate, for signing up. And I will get back to you to let you know exactly how it's going to work. And then what books you want to read and put you in a time slot. Okay. So if you are interested, if you are an organization that's interested, teacher and class, family, young ones, make sure that you go to the Miss Hope's Reading Hour email address, which is misshopesrh@gmail.com. It's right down here in the ticker, misshopesrh@gmail.com, and email me and let me know. Make sure you share this video so that people will know about it, okay? And when I put the flyers out and put it in my stories, make sure that you share, okay? Now, let us get over the disclaimer. The wonderful music that we will hear and the great books that we will read today. Unfortunately, Miss Hope's Reading Hour does not own the rights to them, but they are here for your listening and reading enjoyment, okay? Now, let's get to our books. So, today, we are talking about us being loved. Check out my heart earrings. Thank you, Janae, my friend who sells these earrings. Okay. And we're talking about loving a spring sport. What sport do you think it is? It is soccer. Okay. And this is the story of young Pele, soccer's first star. This is an actual person, and he is a soccer star. So we're going to learn about his life in Brazil and how he came to be a soccer player. That's why we have our wonderful Brazilian music for ambiance. Okay, so this book is by Lisa Klein Ransom, pictures by James E. Ransom, and this is a Dragonfly Books book. Also, we will continue and finish our poetry book because remember, this month is Poetry Appreciation Month as well as Jazz Appreciation Month. Excuse me. So we will finish reading the poems in I Am Loved by Nikki Giovanni. Illustrations by Ashley Bryan. We will finish reading this book. Okay, and there is a lot that has been going on in the life of our girl Patina, okay? We will get to that when we get to the chapter book portion of the broadcast. Oh my goodness, so much happened, okay? Now, let us get to our first book. I want that to fall. Young Pele, Soccer's First Star by Lena Klein Ransom. Sometimes you gotta bend back the new books. All right. In a tiny schoolhouse at the edge of the road in Bauru, Brazil, sat a boy with just a hint of a smile on his face. He stared straight ahead at the chalkboard as his teacher spoke, but his mind was miles away. He was a handsome little guy. Though he was the smallest in his class, 8-year-old Adson sat tall at his desk. While others memorized letters, Edson memorized scores from last night's soccer match. While others practiced adding and subtracting, Edson practiced kicking an imaginary soccer ball. And while others heard the teacher calling out numbers and words, Edson heard an announcer calling a game. With just seconds left, Edson takes the ball, past one defender, then another. Now he's all alone, only the goalie between him and the goal. Edson, 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 the fans shout. But Edson stays focused. He bears down. He drives a kick to the right. The ball hits the goalpost, spins back, and flies through the goalie's hands straight into... Ho, ho, ho. Edson, do nacimiento. How many times must I call on you? His teacher leaned in closer. Now you'll have to learn the hard way. Move. Edson walked past his classmate's desk. Excuse me. Past their snickers and whispers to a corner where he knelt and waited. The final school bell would ring soon, and he could go home and practice. In Edson's backyard, a torn, dirty net hung in the shade of a mango tree. A group of boys huddled there, struggling to find a team name. Suggestions were made and shot down, and then one name was shouted out, and everyone knew it was perfect. September 7, it would be, after Brazil's National Day of Independence. That's kind of a long name for a team, but hey, that's a nice name to give for such a momentous occasion. Each afternoon, the team practiced in Edson's backyard and along potholed roads and dirt-packed fields, kicking up clouds of dust so thick the players could hardly see the ball. As daylight faded, mothers' voices called boys home one by one. Sergino, Nilo, Shode, Luisino, Dino, Valdo, Edson. See you tomorrow, Edson would shout as he grabbed his ball, a sock stuffed with rags, rolled up and tied with string. Then he'd head home, tired and happy. Wow, he had to make his own ball. Edson lived with his parents, Don Dino and Dona Celeste, his grandma, and his younger brother and sister. Don Dino had once been a fine soccer player, but a knee injury had destroyed his dream of playing for a pro team. After supper and into the night, he and Edson would listen to matches on the radio, straining to hear the announcer through the static. Going up, across, beautiful kick, goal! Dona Celeste stayed away, fussing about the two of them wasting their time. When Edson finally went to bed, he closed his eyes, then fast forward to all the plays he'd try and practice the next day. If I pass to Nilo and fake left to Shode, Nilo can kick a high pass back to me and I'll head it into the goal. Too late, he'd fall asleep, still clutching his ball of sock and string. On the way to school every morning, Edson liked to kick one rock, then another, until he was kicking rocks from side to side, dribbling around people's feet and into potholes. Score! When the morning bell rang, his thoughts were so focused on perfecting his plays that he rarely even heard it. School only got worse. Edson's teachers dreamed up punishments they thought would make him pay attention. For talking in class, his mouth was stuffed with paper. For fooling around at his desk, he was made to kneel on beams. Oh my gosh! Although his parents warned him to behave and punished him when he didn't. Edson soon decided it was either easier to skip school altogether and play soccer. What? Kneeling on beans? Stuffing your mouth with paper? Goodness gracious. Oh, I think I missed a page. No, I didn't. Around town, September 7th became known as the Shoeless Ones, a pretty good team of boys who kicked around a ball of rags and were too poor to afford shoes. What about uniforms? Zipporto, a defender on the team, wondered one day. Yeah, and shoes too, everyone agreed, thinking maybe a new look would change their image. The boys put their heads together and came up with a plan. They would enter contests, shine shoes, sell peanuts. Soon they'd earn enough to buy shirts, socks, and shorts made from flour sacks. But they still didn't have enough for shoes. Wow, that is pretty amazing. They were doing all that kicking around in no shoes. That had to be hard on their feet. For Edson and his team, playing the game was all that mattered. They challenged everyone to take them on, even the locals who streamed out of the factory at the end of their shifts and stopped to watch the boys practice. It wasn't long before older players who had once turned Edson and his friends down were playing against them. And barefoot, the Shoeless Ones were winning. Now that is pretty impressive. To win a soccer game with no shoes on. It started one day during practice. Someone called him Pele, then someone else, until the entire team was doing it. At first, Edson thought they were calling him the name of a legendary soccer star, Bile. He didn't like it. But after weeks of hearing Pele, Edson weakened. Maybe a nickname was a good idea, something fans and announcers could shout out. Edson Arantes do Nascimento was too long. And anyway, all the best soccer players had nicknames. Why not Pele? Whatever it meant. The shoeless ones had been together for nearly 4 years when Senora Nicola Avole Jr., the town's mayor, announced he was sponsoring a youth soccer tournament for neighborhood teams who had uniforms and soccer shoes. Now they needed shoes or they couldn't compete. Zelete, a struggling salesman and the father of 3 of the players, offered his help, and the team gratefully accepted. Not only did he find them shoes, he agreed to be their new coach. If you train properly and follow my orders, Zelete instructed, you can win this tournament. And so, almost overnight, the shoeless ones disappeared and a new team was born with a new coach and a new name. Americana, Little America. Using his sales skills, Zelete got hold of a collection of badly worn soccer shoes, donations from another local team. Pé de pobre não tamanho. I'm sorry, he shouted in their native Portuguese. Oh, I've never known how to speak Portuguese. As the boys dived for the shoes. The foot of the poor man doesn't have a size. Now, instead of focusing on their feet, the team could concentrate on the game, though playing with shoes took some getting used to. Between regular practices, 12-year-old Pele and his teammates worked on drills Zelete designed, leaping, dribbling, heading, trapping, dribbling again. So much, so fast, they could do them without even thinking. Pele became the unofficial captain because he owned the ball. I guess so. If I'm the one with the ball, maybe I'm going to be the one who's the captain. And he remained the captain because of all the knowledge he had from talking soccer, listening to soccer, watching and playing soccer with his father. Edson, you only know how to use your right foot, Dondinho would. A good player uses each foot equally. And remember, middle of the forehead, eyes open, mouth shut. That's it, he'd shout as Pele headed the ball. All right, now back to the feet. Left foot, right foot, like this. That's better. Again. When they returned home, Dona Celeste was always waiting in the doorway, shaking her head. Dondino, don't come complaining to me when he wants to be a soccer player instead of a doctor. But Dondino would simply laugh. Celeste, if he doesn't learn to use his left foot, you have nothing to worry about. I have a keto worm. Pele's skills were growing faster than his body. By now, his teammates were heads taller than Pele, but it was Pele who could play center forward, defense, even goalie. Other teams noticed how quickly he dribbled, always with an eye for a pass. Goal! Fans would shout when Pele scored, usually into a tight corner of the goal or after a quick fake. In a game where one goal is often all that's scored, Pele could score three alone. Other teams with better uniforms, coaches, and fields tried to convince him to play for them, but Pele stayed loyal to Ameriquina. I know that's right, loyalty. These are my friends. When Ameriquina's turn came to play in the youth soccer tournament, the team knew it had one advantage over all the others. Its players could work together. On the day of their game, the Baru Athletic Club Stadium was packed with 5,000 fans. Standing on the lush green grass, Pele forgot about his father watching in the stands and his mother worrying at home over his future. Left foot, right foot, he said to himself over and over again. By the time the whistle blew, he was focused only on the goal. Wow. 5,000? The first goal was scored by the opposing team, but Ameriquina stayed cool, playing as one, reading each other's signals as if the team spoke its own secret language, and scored. Again, each team scored, and then Ameriquina caught fire, driving downfield with incredible speed. One kick pass from the right, and with just seconds left, Pele takes the ball, past one defender, then another. Now he's all alone, only the goalie between him and the goal. Just like in his dream. Pele, 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 the fans shouted. But Pele stayed focused. He bears down. He drives a kick to the right. The ball hits the goalpost, spins back, and flies through the goalie's hand straight into goal. Pele, Pele, the crowd chanted. And Edson realized for the first time since he'd heard it that the name Pele was echoing in harmony throughout the stadium. It sounded like music. That had to be exciting. As he and his father headed home, Pele was followed by the sound of fans shouting, "Congratulations, Pele!" But when he saw Donna Celeste poised in their doorway, shaking her head, his steps slowed. Then his mother moved toward him, pulled him to her, and hugged him. "Congratulations, my son," she whispered. Oh, the perfect end to a perfect game. His mom realized his talents. Wow. So there is an author's note about Pele. Pele was born on October 23rd, in 1940. He would grow up to become the greatest player of soccer, or football, as it is called in countries outside the United States, the world has ever known. Though the origin of the name Pele is unknown, some believe it derives from the word pé, meaning foot in Portuguese, which is often yelled in frustration by players when the soccer ball is mistakenly touched by pan. Still, others believe the name was given as a tribute to the soccer player Pele. Over the course of his career, Pele had many nicknames. In Italy, it was Il Re, the king. In France, La Tulipe Noire, the black tulip. And in Brazil, Perola Negra, the black pearl. In 1958, at 17 years old, He was the youngest player in history to compete in a World Cup championship. And he led his team to victory over Sweden and to Brazil's first World Cup. At 21, he led his team to another World Cup championship, and he did it again at 29. In all, he played 1,063 games, scoring an incredible 1,281 goals. Brazil's famous number 10 brought grace and excitement, speed and acrobatics, the likes of which have never been seen before or since to the soccer field. Wow. That is amazing. And in soccer, sometimes the game is won by one goal. And he scored in his career, how many? 1,281 goals. That is amazing. Well, that is the story of young Pele. So glad we got to read this book. I had heard of him, but I never knew all of this information about Pele. He was a really talented player. So, my parent-teacher friends, if you have some young ones who are interested in soccer or who love the game, they probably know who Pele is, and this would be a good book to get for their library. Okay? So glad we got to read that book. Now, let us get to our poetry book so we can finish that one. Let's finish our poetry book, I Am Loved, by the famous poet Nikki Giovanni. Let's see. Which one did we end on? And this is an Athenaeum Books for Young Readers book. Which one did we end on? No, not that one. Let's see. Oh, they all are like that. Oh, we don't. Wait a minute. Just a second. Okay, there we go. So, I think we may have read this one last week, but I liked it. So, we can read it again. I mean, on Monday. But we can read it again. Paula the cat. Paula the cat, not thin or fat, is as happy as house cats can be. She reads and she writes with all the delights of intelligent cats up a tree. Tired of the view, she chose to pursue a fate unbeknownst to the crowd. Finding a boat, locked up in a moat, she boarded and shouted out loud, I'm Paula the cat, not thin or fat, as happy as house cats can be. But now I've the urge for my spirit to surge, and I shall go off to sea. I like cats. I used to have a cat when I was younger. And we love our cats. And sometimes we often wonder, what are they thinking? This one is called No Heaven. How can there be no heaven when rain falls gently on the grass, when sunshine scampers across my toes, when corn bakes into bread, when wheat melts into cake, when shadows cool and owls call and little finches eat upside down? How can there be no heaven when tears comfort, when dreams caress, when you smile at me? Someone's smile is always like heaven, especially when you need one. I am a mirror, I am a mirror. I reflect the grace of my mother, the tenacity of my grandmother, the patience of my grandfather, the sweat of my great grandmother, the hope of my great grandfather, the songs of my ancestors, the prayers of those on the auction block, the bravery of those in the middle passage. I reflect the strengths of my people, and for that alone, I am loved. And then there's the mirror. So when you read that, look in the mirror and remember that you are loved. And our last poem, Do the Rosa Parks, a song in rhythm. Do the Rosa Parks say no, no? Do the Rosa Parks throw your hands in the air? Do the Rosa Parks say no, no? Do the Rosa Parks tell them that's not fair? Somebody's lying, Rosa Parks, him. Someone's crying, Rosa Parks, her. Shame the bad, comfort the good, do the Rosa Parks just like should. Sit down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Stand up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sit down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do the Rosa Parks all over town. Do the Rosa Parks say no, no? Do the Rosa Parks throw your hands in the air? Do the Rosa Parks say no, no? Do the Rosa Parks tell them that's not fair? Somebody's lying, Rosa Parks him. Somebody's crying, Rosa Parks her. Shame the bad, comfort the good. Do the Rosa Parks just like she would. Sit down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Stand up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sit down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do the Rosa Parks all over town. That is the end of I Am Loved, a poetry collection by Nikki Giovanni. I'm so glad we got to read that book. Now, my friends, you know what we got to get back to. Let me get myself comfortable. Because see, this is the thing. Every time we get to this book, I got to get comfortable because it's something always happening, y'all. We got to get back to our girl Patina, okay, by Jason Reynolds. So, we are almost done. Oh my goodness, I just realized, look at this. This is all we got, y'all. All we got. So, we are in chapter 13. Now, we did find out on Monday that Momly and Maddy had been in a car accident on the way to Momly taking her to her farm trip with her class. So Uncle Tony comes to get Patina out of school. She was a little embarrassed to be called to the office and for them to let her know it was her uncle. But then she saw Uncle Tony's face and knew that something was wrong. So he was like, listen, you gotta come now. I'll just tell you what happened in the car. She goes, he lets her know Momly and Maddy have been in a car accident. Of course, her mind is spinning, thinking, oh my goodness, I hope Maddy's okay. I hope Momly's okay. They get to the hospital, they find out Maddy doesn't have a scratch on her. But Momly, on the other hand, she's pretty banged up. Her arm is broken. She's bruised all over, but she's all right. And she has to get surgery on her arm. But before they leave, before that, Maddy is a little upset about her arm And she's worried that her arm is going to get amputated like her mother's legs got amputated. And she was like, is that going to happen? And Momly, even through being exhausted and in pain, is letting her know, no, that won't happen. So they left the hospital. They were going to come back the next day for her surgery. But Momly let Patina know, you got to go to practice, because she knows that Patina needs practice. When hard things are happening in her life, she needs running. She needs track to help her to get through what she's going through. So that is where we are. Chapter 13 of Patina, Patty Ain't No Junk by Jason Reynolds. Chapter 13. To do, run forever. And then run some more. Well, so let me read a little bit of chapter 12, the last paragraph. And I did, meaning that she did need practice. Even though, because yesterday's practice had been rained out, this would be the last practice before the meet on Saturday. I was fully prepared for the hardest practice ever. Well, not fully prepared. Thursday, long run day. No surprise there. But because we were also training for relay races, Coach had figured out how to combine both endurance and relay in the same workout, which basically means Coach had to figure out how to crush us. Patty, you okay? Ghost whispered to me as we stretched. Left side toe touches. Aaron was counting down from 10. Yeah, I said. Why? 6, 5, 4, Aaron chanted. I don't know, Ghost said, mid yawn. Said he stayed up all night watching some movie about Jesse Owens, which was fine for him since he didn't have to go to school. Spring break life. Ghost's tongue was a weird shade of purple, dyed from something. Candy, I guessed. You just seem different. Switch, Aaron said. We all stretched to the right. With my eyes, I followed my right arm. Top part, elbow, bottom part, wrist, hand, all there. All working. I couldn't help but have a flash of Momly. And even though I knew she'd be okay, at least I hoped she'd be okay, it was hard not to wonder how everything was going to get done now. Would Uncle Tony have to drive us everywhere? Drop us off at school, pick us up, then pick me up from track? What about dinner? What about Ma? Who was going to take care of Ma? And how was she going to go get her blood cleaned? I couldn't take her. I would if I could, but I can't drive. It was impossible not to think about all these things. These things I hadn't really thought about because Momly always just did them, which I also never really thought about. It was also impossible to just come to the track and pretend like I hadn't just come from the hospital. The hospital has a way of sticking to your skin. Yeah, Patty, you do seem strange, Lou added. 8, 7, 6, 5. I turned to Sonny, trying to keep up my front. Am I acting funny, Sonny? Sonny smiled at funny Sonny. Switch down the middle, Aaron now ordered. Funny? Sonny asked, his noodly body bent over, hanging limp, his fingertips pressing the track. Not funny, but yeah, kind of weird. Told you, Ghost said low. I didn't know what it was about these guys except for Lou. I'd only known them for a few weeks, and they could already tell when something was going on with me. I mean, I could always tell when something was wrong with them because something was always wrong with them. But the fact that they could pick me apart so easily was crazy. Above your head, Aaron called out. It's just that I started to tell them, but Coach cut me off. Focus, newbies. We're not talking, we're stretching. It's been an eventful week, and you four always seem to be part of the events. So today, keep your heads in the lane. Lou and Ghost had their arms up, but tucked their chins, almost as if they were sniffing their pits, when really they were just sneak looking at me. I gave them a yes, something was going on, and I'll tell you later sort of nod. After a few more stretches and Aaron's way too serious countdowns, it was time to run. Okay, so we lost a day yesterday, and y'all know we gotta make up for it today, Coach said, spinning his car keys on his index finger. The whole team seemed to brace itself. We all knew what was coming. So here's what's going to happen. Coach Witt is going to lead y'all on a long run as usual, but it's going to be a little different. All of you who aren't running relays will run the regular way, but all my relay runners are going to stagger. Coach Witt stood off to the side, kicking her legs behind her, one at a time, catching them by the ankle and holding them for an extra quad stretch. That should have been a sign. If the coaches are doing extra stretches, we were in for a doozy. What this means is, according to what leg you're running on Saturday, that's the order in which you run this long run. So, for the girls, Deja, you're going to start off with everybody else. Same for you, Freddie. Stay with the pack. Now, when they get about 90 seconds out, I'll blow the whistle, and our second legs, Britt, Brett, and Mickey, y'all start. Your job is to keep a steady pace, but not to catch up with the rest of them. Understand? Britt Brat nodded. Yeah, Mikey grumbled. 90 seconds after them, Crystal and Eric, Coach said. I was happy he didn't call my name, and everybody knows the third leg is the weakest. And then come our anchors. Coach held two fingers and pointed them at me and Karan. That's you two. Karan was known for false starts during his individual 800s, but apparently he was the man as the anchor leg for the relay. And I gotta admit that while today had been the pit so far, I couldn't help but be a little gassed about the fact that I was chosen to be the anchor. Coach pulled a baton from one of his back pockets. Then from his front pocket, he pulled out a small jar of Vaseline. He popped the top off, slathered the baton in petroleum jelly, and handed it to Karan. Gross. I could tell Karan thought so too. Then Coach pulled another baton out and gave it the same oily rub down, handing that one to me. Ugh. Patty, after the other day, plus your temper tantrum last week, I wasn't sure. But I feel like you've got the heart for this. Like you can handle this responsibility. I don't know why, but I feel like you're the comeback kid. Prove me right. Coach said, like a cornball before releasing the baton. Got you, I said, cool, switching hands, wiping the grease on my shorts. Coach cleaned his hands with a towel that seemed to live around his neck, then raised his voice. Listen up. Here's how this is going to go, relay squad. Every time y'all hear me hit the horn, the person with the baton has to run and catch the leg in front of them. Call out stick. Whoever is receiving the baton cannot turn around. You have to find the rhythm of the run, reach back, and take the baton, just like you went through on Tuesday. Then you continue running on pace until you hear my horn. Then the person with the baton has to catch the next leg and hand off the stick. At the end of the run, all the first legs should have the baton, and you should all be together. You start apart, but you end together. Everyone needs to make sure that. This is like a reverse relay, but it's good to push ourselves, especially since, as relay runners, a lot of times it'll be your job to eat up track and make up time. If anyone messes up the handoff and drops the baton, I don't care that it's slippery. The relay team has to start the process over, meaning if Mikey drops it, we start again with Karan. Got it? We all just sort of nodded numbly. This was going to be hell. I don't understand nods, and I can't read minds, he growled. We got it, Coach, Mikey said, putting his game face on. Yeah, Coach, Crystal said, game face too. Pass and don't drop. Again, everyone is responsible for everyone. In relay, you win and lose as a team. You are not 2 legs. You are 8, Coach droned. Now the rest of you non-relayers, you know what this is. Ghost, I don't want to see you in last. Lou, if Ghost is in last, you owe me a mile. Lou's mouth dropped. What? Coach ignored him and kept on preaching. And Sonny, if you don't finish first, you gonna be running sprints. Got it, Coach, Sonny said, totally unflustered. The best never rest. Now let's get it. First legs and non-relays, follow me, Whit said, taking off. Me, Crystal, Karan, Mikey, Britt, Brett, and Eric all hung back. Coach eyed his stopwatch, and as soon as it hit 90 seconds, I guessed, he blew the whistle and Britt, Brett, and Mikey took off. After another 90 seconds, the whistle blew again. Crystal and Eric headed out. Karan and I were last, holding our greasy batons, waiting for the whistle. Coach made his way to his taxi, the motivation mobile, had his arm out the window, the other holding the stopwatch. Then, my whistle. That was a little bad. Me and Karan broke out off the track, through the grass, and onto the street, seeing sets of 2 in front of us. And in the far distance, the jostling mob of colorful cutoff t-shirts and jerseys, bush balls and cornrows, and farthest in front of us, and farthest ahead, Sonny, tall and light, towering above everyone. Just keep pace, Karan suggested as we trotted down the street. If you can. If I can, I shot back. I was not in the mood for his mess. Karan tried to back it up. I mean, not because you're not fast, but because my legs are longer, he said, opening his stride. But he clearly had no idea who I was. Patina Jones. No junk. Frida in a suit. Mary J. Blige in track shoes. I said, the baton glinting in the sun every time I lifted my right arm. I opened my stride too. And then the horn. Let me see you push, Coach shouted from his window as me and Karan started running faster. I needed to beat him, or at least be with him. Didn't matter if his legs were longer. Did not matter. I got the legs of 2 people. Me and my mother. We pounded down the street, gaining on Crystal and Eric, who had just reached a construction site. Workers in hard hats were hoisting big metal containers with ropes and hooks up to the roof of a building. Crystal and Eric cut into the street to get around the orange cones and yellow tape, and we would have to do the same. Thankfully, there wasn't much traffic. Karan started to pull ahead, so I turned on the jets and really started burning my legs out, even though I knew it was a bad idea. But I was no way going to take another loss. Not today. I stepped off the sidewalk well before the construction and ran in the street, close to the curb to avoid an oncoming delivery van. Back on the sidewalk, Patty, Coach yelled through a megaphone. I ignored him. Patty, back on the sidewalk. A bus was coming up the block, the roaring of its engine like a bear waking from its sleep. Coach is gonna kill me, I thought. But so what? Come on, Patty, you got this. Almost at the construction, Karan was just a few steps behind me, still on the sidewalk, the pit-pat of his footsteps in my ear, Coach in my ear, the horn of the bus in my ear. Come on, Patty. Crystal was close. I could see her ponytail flicking in the wind like a brown flame. Karan was gaining on me, but he had his work cut out for him because Eric was farther ahead than Crystal. Now the bus was only a few yards away from me. Honk, honk, Patty, Coach bellowed. The bus was right there. I was at the construction site. Hard hats, metal clanging, men talking, laughing. The bus was right in front of me. Honk! And I hopped back onto the curb at the last second, avoiding the bus in the construction site. Karan, however, was stuck. Keep pushing, Patty. Crystal was 5 feet away. 4. Stick! Stick! I yelled, just like we learned in practice. I took the inside of the sidewalk, running closer to the shop doors, while Crystal smoothly slid to the outside, skimming the curb. Stick! I pushed the word out, now gasping for air. Crystal stretched her arm behind her, speeding up as I was coming in fast. And just like dancing, like being able to move with each other without actually touching, in one smooth motion, I handed the baton to Crystal. Oh! The child almost got hit by a bus. Oh man. So we will end it right there in chapter 13. They are training hard because this meet is on Saturday, okay? Well, my friends, just an announcement, a little public service announcement. On Fabulous Friday, I'm going to see if I can make a recording for Fabulous Friday, but I may not be able to because, as you know, Miss Hope is also in school, and I have a midterm, a very big, important test on Friday. So send up some prayers for Miss Hope on her midterm day, which is on Friday. And I will not be able to do Miss Hope's reading hour on Friday. Hopefully, I will be able to do a recording on Thursday, but I'm still doing a lot of studying for the midterm. So if you don't see me on Fabulous Friday, that is the reason, because Miss Hope has a midterm, very big test that's worth a lot of my grade, okay? Well, I'm so glad we were able to be here together on Miss Hope's Reading Hour. Make sure that you look out for more information about the Miss Hope's Reading Hour birthday 24-hour read-a-thon that will be on Friday, April the 30th. And I look forward to seeing you on either Fabulous Friday, hopefully, or I will see you on Marvelous Monday, okay? Have a great weekend, and I hope to see you on Marvelous Monday, right back here on Miss Hope's Reading Hour. Until then, my friends, see you next time.